Hello and welcome back to Get Great at Maths. I'm here to help you pass your maths exam, so hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to look at keywords, key formulas and how to gain top marks. So let's get ready to get great at maths. Okay, so here are all the topics that I predicted would come up on paper 2 or paper 3. Now you've just done paper 2 and the topics that came up I'm going to cross off now. So you can see this is what came up on paper 2 and what is left is what will come up on paper 3. So you have seen what has been on paper 1, you have seen paper 2. That means what is left will come up on paper 3. So have a look through these. I'm just going to go on and show you the list without these crossed out sections. So here we have all the predicted topics. They haven't come up on paper 1 or paper 2. So this is what could come up in your paper 3. The upper bounds came up on paper 2. Lower bounds, they may come up. You're more likely to see error interval and accuracy than the bounds, but you don't know. So make sure you look through here. On the next few slides with examples of exam questions which are linked to all of these topics. So have a look through the ones that you need to practice. Now with all these questions, I'm going to be looking through different types of questions, and I'm going through the list of topics that you've just seen. So we've got the upper and lower bounds, the error interval, so all the accuracy questions. I've done 5 questions on this topic, so we're going to go through each one. I'm going to show you the question. I'm going to highlight keywords in the question. So for example, on this one, number 1, your keywords, you've got to work out an error interval for D. So you're told that D is 12.7 to 1 decimal place. You've got to write down your answer in these 2 dotted bits here, and this will give you 2 marks in the exam. So I'd like you to press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you've got an answer to check your answers. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to work out what the error interval is of this question here. If you want more explanations on these questions, then just put in the comments which one you would like me to go through. I'm just giving you the questions and topics, and then if you want more help on them, then I can give you more help later on. So the mark scheme for this question is shown down here. Here are the answers. B1 means no method mark needed. So you don't need to write a method. You can literally just write down the answers. And these are the ones which will give you the marks. Okay, so there's the first question. We've got 4 more to do on this topic, and then we'll move on to the next little bit. But I'm not going to explain how to do them in particular. I'm just going to give you the questions, and then you have a go at working them out in the mark scheme. If you need more help on a question, just write in the comments below. So question 2 is another bounds question. So the keywords in this question, and in the exam, you can highlight these in the question. He wrote down the first 2 digits of the answer on his calculator, and the number he wrote down was 1.2, and you've got to complete the error interval for P. Again, write your answer in here. So press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play, ready to hear the mark scheme. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to have a go at doing this question. The mark scheme shows that you've got B1 marks again, which means there is no method mark needed again for getting the 2 answers, 1.2 and 1.3 in here, and this will give you 2 marks. Again, if you need more explanation on how to get these answers, just write in the comment blocks below and I will go through them in more detail for you. Our third bound question for keywords are we've got a 90 metres correct to the nearest metre, and again you've got to work out the error interval for the length of the football pitch. Again, you're writing your answers in here. This is worth 2 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to come up with the 2 answers here, 85.9 and 90.5. Remember, B1 means there is no method needed. You can literally just write down the answers. Again, if you need more help, just write in the comment box below and I can do a video on specific questions. Okay, but these are the questions that you need to be able to do in the exam, and these are what's likely to come up on the exam paper, on the 2025 paper. Now this question is quite a wordy question linking to upper and lower bounds or your error intervals here. So we're going to look at the keywords in the question. You're told you've got a distance of 10.6 metres to the nearest 0.1 kilometre. The time is 31 minutes and 48 seconds. Now be careful because the units aren't consistent, so you need to put them into the same form, and this is to the nearest second. So remember here, your speed that you've got to work out is kilometers per hour. So this is in minutes and seconds. You're going to have to convert your time into hours in order to be able to work out the speed. Okay, if you can't remember how to work out speed, it gives you a clue here in the units. You've got kilometers per hour. That's a distance per time. Now the word per in this question here, this line here means divide. So you've got distance divided by time. So the units here of speed help you work out the speed, distance divided by time. Consider your bounds. Okay, calculate the value of B. V correct to a suitable degree of accuracy. You must show your working and give a reason for the answer for 5 marks. So make sure you know how to do this question. There's a lot to do. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play to hear the mark scheme or to see the mark scheme. Fantastic. Hopefully you've had a go at doing this question and you've managed to come up with an answer. So the mark scheme shows the answer should be 20. Okay, these are the 5 points where you would get the marks. The B1 up here means no method is needed to state what the bounds are. The 2 P1s here, okay, these are process marks. So if you tried to do the process correctly, you would still get a mark. And A1 is an answer mark, so that's an easy one. That just means you've got the answer correct. And C1 stands for a communication mark, so explaining what is going on. The question said explain your answer, so you have to write in words to explain your answer. Give yourself a tick if you got it correct. Great work. Again, if you want me to go through the actual calculations, then just write a message in the comment box below and I can do more information for you. But great work. Well done. This is the last question on bounds. So we've got an upper and lower bound question here, and you're told that D is equal to 1/8 of C cubed. You're told the value of C is 10.9, correct to 3 significant figures. So you've got to consider the bounds and work out the value of D to a suitable degree of accuracy, and you must give a reason for your answer, and this is worth 4 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the mark scheme. Fantastic work. So the mark scheme shows the answer should be 160. Supported means you must show your working out. Again, we've got this B1, which means it's an unconditional accuracy mark and you don't need to show your method. So there's no method needed. You can just write down these 2 values. M1 means a method mark. So you've got 1 method mark for getting to this stage. A1 is an answer mark. So the answer for getting to these 2 values here, this one and this one. The C1 means a communication mark. So this means you have to write some words along with the numbers in order to get the marks. You have to communicate the reason for your answer. It says in the question, give a reason for your answer. Make sure you're communicating why this is the answer here. Give yourself a big tick if you got that correct. These are the questions I found on upper and lower bounds. So these are the good exam questions that could come up in the 2025 paper on bounds. So make sure you know how to do bounds. You can look up other people's work on bounds if you want to find a little bit more information out about bounds. Now, calculator display questions are guaranteed to come up on a calculator question because you have to work out the value of this sum here and you've got to write down the calculator display. So the keywords are work out, and then you've got to write down all the figures on your calculator display. It tells you to use your calculator and you literally type it in what you see on the calculator and it will give you 2 marks. So press pause, have a go at typing it on your calculator and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to have a go at using your fraction button on the calculator, then type in the numerator, then type in what it says in the denominator, press equals and then convert it to a decimal. And you should end up with the answer of 1.7652, etc. So you've got 2 marks. M1 is a method mark and A1 is an answer mark for getting here. So you need to have a method mark and the answer mark to get the marks. So make sure you know how to write down your working to show this answer. This is the second question on calculator display questions and the last one of this topic. Again, you've got to use your calculator. It tells you in the question you're using your calculator. Give the answer to 3 significant figures. That means 3 digits. So work this out on your calculator. Again, it is worth 2 marks. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to start. Fantastic. So hopefully you've managed to come up with an answer to this. So the mark scheme says the answer is 0.739. Again, you get a method mark for this section here. The answer mark is an answer in the range between these two values here. And that is your answer, 0.739. If you found this difficult, just put a comment in the box below and then I can go through it in more detail. So this is a question on index laws. Now in index laws, often it is linked to algebra, but it can also be linked to numbers. So you can see here, I've got some powers up here, which are my index. So I've got 10 to the power of 360 divided by 10 to the 150 times 10 to the 90, the square root of a lot of it. And you've got to write your answer as a power of 10. This will give you 3 marks in the exam. So you need to make sure you know the rules of indices, okay? And then you can deal with numbers as well as algebra. The next part, you're expected to write this as a power of 12. This is what Liam has done, and you've got to explain why his method is wrong, and you've got to write down why. This will give you 1 mark in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, then press play when you're ready to hear. Fantastic. So the mark scheme says the answer is 10 to the power of 60. M1 is just a method mark for this section, and here A1 is an answer mark. CAO means correct answer only, so you have to write 10 to the power of 60. If you've written out 10 with loads of zeros afterwards, you will not get the mark. It has to be in this form here. And then part B, you've got to do the reason. So this C1 is a communication mark. You have to use words to explain what is going on. So these are anything that is acceptable. Under here, this is what is not acceptable. If you need more explanation, just write a comment in the box below and I can do the full video for you. So just let me know. Here's our second question on index laws. Again, this one is linking in a bit of algebra in with the numbers, but the numbers are still there. And you've got to work out the value of A and N, and you've got to write the answers down here. You've got to work out what value is A and what value is N in order to make this make sense. This is worth 2 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So the mark scheme says the answer should be 49 for A and 2 for N. P1 is a process mark. So if you try to do what it says here, you will get 1 mark. A1 is the answer mark. And again, that CAO means correct answer only. So you must have the correct answers in order to get the answer mark here. Give yourself a tick if you got it correct. If you want to know exactly how to get the answer, then just write a comment below and I will go through the full method for you. Now this is a money question, but it also links in percentages and also ratios. So it is quite an in-depth question, which is why it is worth 5 marks, because it implies and uses a lot of skills, not just money. And that's what you're going to have at GCSE Higher. You need to know how to do in-depth questions. So your key parts of the question, you're told you've got 8,500 plus VAT, but 20%. So that means you basically add in 20% onto this value here. That's what the VAT means. Then she pays a deposit for the van. Then she pays the rest off in cost of 12 equal payments of £531 and £25p each month. And you've got to find the ratio of the deposit Rhea pays to the total of the 12 equal payments. And you've got to give your answer in its simplest form. This will give you 5 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So the mark scheme shows the answer should be 3 to 5. P1 is a process mark. So all these top 4 here are process marks. And A1 is an answer mark. So this is making sure you're showing or knowing the correct process, and that will give you a mark. Again, if you want me to go through in more detail, just write in the comment box below and then I can do these in more detail for you. This is the next topic, powers, indices, squares, cubes and their roots. Again, this topic can be linked in with algebra as well for the indices. and especially the square root and cube root can be linked in with the indices and algebra, but it can also be done in terms of number. The keywords are workout and the question here, this will give you 2 marks in the exam. Press pause, you are allowed to use a calculator, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. Now to get the full 2 marks, you must show some steps or some working of where you're going. If you just type it in your calculator, you won't get the full 2 marks. So you need to show where the method is coming from and where to get the answer from. The CAO again means correct answer only, so the answer we're looking for is 9. If you need some more help or explanations, just comment below and let me know where you need help. Our last 2 questions are to do with the reciprocal of a number. So we've got to work out the reciprocal of 0.625. This is worth 1 mark in the exam. So press pause, make sure you know the definition of the word reciprocal and you know what to do if you see that word in the exam. And then press play when you're ready to see the answer. Fantastic. So the mark scheme says the answer is 1.6. B1 means a method mark. Without showing your working, you could just write down the answer. The OE means or equivalent. So this means you've got no method work needed for this. Remember to work out the reciprocal. It is 1 divided by this number to give you this. So that's what that word reciprocal means. If you need more help, just ask in the comments below and then I can show you how to do it in more detail. And the last number topic that is going to be coming up on your number paper is again a reciprocal question. Very similar to the last one, reciprocal of 1.6. You've got to give your answer as a decimal this time and this is worth 1 mark. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. The answer should be 0.625. CAO means correct answer only, and the B1 means you don't need to show your method. You can just literally write down the answer. Fantastic work if you've managed to get these correct. Well done. So now you've seen all the exam questions. Make sure you know how to do all these number topic questions. Watch out for my videos on algebra, geometry, ratio and probability. So those videos will be following. So make sure you keep listening out. Tell your friends. Make sure you share this information so you and your friends know what is going to come up on your maths exam so you are prepared for next week. Good luck. Hope you get on really well and you get the grade you require to carry on to whatever you want to do in the future. All the best. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Please follow Get Great at Maths on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and X. What do you want to see next on Get Great at Maths? Please comment below. See you next time.